Welcome back to this week's episode of the Dead Air Records podcast. We're on episode 6. Six.
Unbelievable.
If you've made it this far, thanks. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've made it this far, to be honest.
I know.
But here we are. So we are. My name is Jess.
And I'm Mark.
And I can't believe we're still making mistakes in episode 6, but here we are. We are the owners of Dead Air Records, an independent shop based right here in Liverpool. We started this podcast because we wanted to talk about music, talk about collecting records, share some amazing things that come across the counter here in our shop, and also, most importantly, talk about Liverpool bands, musicians, artists, DJs, all the amazing people that are doing incredible musical things in this city. What are we doing this week, Mark?
So this week we're going to go over albums that have been in heavy rotation in the shop. We're going to talk about some records that have come across the counter, and we're going to talk about some local bands and gigs.
Great.
So, do you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, kick it off. What have you been listening to in the shop? What's been like playing through the speakers? What have people been suggesting?
Well, it's a good question. So I'm going to make myself comfortable. Okay.
Buckle up.
So the first album I want to talk about is Zahara's new record.
Oh, that's a really strong
so
start.
Good.
It's so good.
It is Spiral Your Way Out.
Oh,
right?
That's an amazing name.
Yeah. So it's the follow-up to 2023's Tender. So I first came across Zahara because of the 2022 album with iDress, who I am in love with. I love iDress. Well, they did a collaboration called The Simps.
Nice.
And they used Simpsons sort of imagery. And it was just a really cool record. And then I followed on and listened to Tender, and I thought it was a really good record. But this one is special. I feel as though it's maybe the first great album of the year. Came out in January. And it's been non-stop. I've just been listening to it non-stop. So it's a breakup record. Zahara talked about the isolation of being on tour and being in kind of a toxic situation, and didn't really know how to process it until they were in the studio, and then just left nothing on the table.
Wow.
So what you end up with is like a gut punch, but it's also dreamlike. It's really hard to describe. So released on Lex Records. Lex, just an amazing label, put out some of MF Doom's albums.
Nice.
And yeah, just really cool. But like I say, first great album of the year, Zahara, Spiral Your Way Out. Really
what kind of like genre are we talking? How would you describe it?
So I would say it's like, at its heart, it's a scuzzy guitar, alternative guitar album.
Yeah.
But there's elements of everything. There's like doo-wop, there's a bit of dance in there. It's a bit of a weird one, really, but it's it's right across the board. Really love that record.
Nice.
Yeah.
And as we do with everything we talk about in the podcast, we'll add all these tracks to our playlist as well, which is on Spotify. And yeah, I guess Zahara, just to like note on that spelling as well, if you're trying to look it up.
Yeah.
It is ZZZAHARA. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So it starts with 3 Z's. So yeah, if you're trying to search for that and trying to get it on your playlist, have a little look, but also head to our playlist and save that too.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So
nice.
That's great. So I'll move on to the next one, which is Jev.
Oh yeah, great.
Jev dot. So
important about the dot.
Yeah. So JEV dot. When Angels Cry. So it's a self-release record. He's a Congolese Canadian artist, and he does hip hop, but it's just balls to the wall. So it's the follow up to The Color Grey and the Loner World EP / mixtape. Found out about him.
How did you find out about him?
Due to a collab with a certain balaclavaed soul singer. We won't go into it.
It's been a while since there's been a mention.
Yeah,
but we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, it's 13 tracks in 35 minutes, so it's lean. It feels like it's
and it starts big. Like as soon as you've got like a bit of like orchestral sort of vibe at the beginning on that first track, and then it's immediately into something massive.
Into it, and it's scorched earth all the way through. It's just absolutely incredible. For fans that I would say of like Kendrick, Danny Brown, Tyler the Creator, alt hip hop basically.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jev is bringing something new to the table. Sold out a London show in no time whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's I feel like one of the very few times he's been to the UK. We're like
gone.
We're waiting for more. More tours, more dates.
Yeah,
Please come to Liverpool.
Please come to Liverpool, Jeff.
Or Manchester.
Yeah.
Or anywhere in the north.
amazing. So yeah, please check that out. When Angels Cry is the album. Just incredible.
Nice.
Next, I'm going to talk about International Anthem.
Oh, a favourite label of yours.
Yeah, it's probably my favourite. Well, Coal Mine, International Anthem.
Tell us about International Anthem. What's their vibe?
So it's Chicago-based jazz.
Yeah.
They have pretty much put out bangers with every release. I can't think of a bad record that I've heard from that label. It's been very hard for me to pick one that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about SML, and the album is called Small, Medium and Large. This is members of Jeff Parker's ETA, which was the Enfield Tennis Academy in Boston, which they would do afternoon sets and cut their teeth. This is really cool. Anna Butters is in this group, who recently put out Mighty Vertebrate, which we have in the shop, I think. Jeremiah Chu, who does the electronics, and saxophonist. Saxophonist.
It's always such a hard word to say.
Can't get it right.
Saxophonist.
I failed. Josh Johnson, among some others as well, but mainly that's part of, Jeff Parker's ETA quartet. So really, really good beat, bop, boop kind of synths with just searing jazz lines. Really, really great record to listen to.
With International Anthem as well, I love that, we have in the shop, we have like a little label section, which you might be able to see behind us, where we kind of spotlight different labels. We have an International Anthem section, but what I do like, if you are starting off by getting into their releases, is they have like an OB strip around all of the records, and on the inside of that, they suggest like further listening, kind of like a further reading schedule. And if you kind of like, on SML, I think it references other releases that you can also go to from there. So it's a really nice jumping way to kind of like discover new music around the label, which is very much how you got into it, really. You had an entry point into it and then started looking through like, okay, well, if I like this album, then I'm going to like this album that they've suggested. And you can kind of navigate your way through the label and the vibe through that. I
heard Jamie Branch's Live or Die Fly.
Which is the one that Anton picked up when he was here. Yeah.
And oh my God. So that was my first introduction. And then I've just really enjoyed going back across every release, and Alabaster de Plume.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ruth Gola's just got the reissue of Skylar's just come out.
It was really hard to pick one, but I thought I'd go for the Small, Medium and Large, because really it stands out from the crowd as something wildly different.
Yeah.
It's very electronic.
It's a little bit hip hoppy as well, right? Bit of trip hop in there.
Yeah. Prior to this, I love jazz, but I'm very kind of stuck in one period of time, which is, I'd say, the bebop, cool bop era of jazz. I find that I didn't really like much modern jazz up until I found this label. There's exceptions, obviously, Shabaka Hutchins, Sons of Kemet, all
Ezra
of that
Collective.
stuff, Ezra Collective. But really, this label has helped me reestablish a little bit like modern jazz. So yeah, well worth checking out. I can't recommend them enough. Everything on that label's amazing, but specifically check out SML, Small, Medium, Large. I'm going to talk about one more before you come in. I'm going to speak about Amen June's Death Jokes 1 and 2.
Nice.
So released on Sub Pop last year. Damon McMahon, New York-based producer. Knocked out not one but 2 albums in a year.
Wow. Recorded at the same time, do you think? Or maybe in separate occasions?
So I kind of feel like Death Jokes 2, it is a remix album at heart. Okay. But what I feel like when you read into it, it took him years to produce this record, and it's 3 failed mixes, loads of failed collaborations, and I think in the end he just scrapped everything, went back to roots and put out this record. And then Death Jokes 2 is like a refinement. That's how I look at it. It's a remix album, but it's definitely a refinement. And it was the final like say. He basically ended the project after this.
Oh wow! So he's come out with 2 albums and then been like,
goodbye.
That's it.
I'm gone.
This is done. This is the final of this moment.
Yeah, which kind of morbidly plays into the title of the albums, Death Jokes. Basically, I first heard about Amen June's from the album Freedom, which was released on Sacred Bones. I loved it at the time, but I feel like this one although a grower, has basically gone in a complete new direction, and I'm just obsessed with these 2 albums now. And I tend to listen to them back to back as well. I'll go through them and then listen to the second one as well, just in one go. Absolutely love it anyway. And
then is that the kind of thing that, so heavy rotation, obviously you're playing it in the shop. Is that like a morning situation? Is that like an afternoon?
It's definitely for me. I love listening to it in the morning, get in the shop, open everything up. Purple Lands is such a great tune. Ian, that tune as well, just great. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sad to see the end of that project. I thought it was really solid. I
guess that means maybe, on a positive note, it's the start of something new.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. As yet unannounced, but electronic tinged, guitar based. I would say indie music, but kind of on the verges of being something completely different.
Yeah. And Scottish, right?
No? New York based. Yeah, New York based. Okay. So anyway, please check out Amen Dunes, Death Jokes, Part 1, Part 2. And come and listen to it in the shop if you're around.
If you're in the morning.
Yeah.
Expect it on.
Do you have one for me?
Yeah, so I guess I've been revisiting recently something that I didn't know about until we had the shop, really, when it came across the counter, which was a album by an artist and a multi-instrumentalist called Leilani, who is based in Pomona in California. Had never heard of this artist before, had never seen this album before, and it stuck around in the shop for quite a while because I think it was pretty unknown. It's sadly gone now, and there isn't like a week that goes by that I regret not taking that home.
We should have kept it.
I know. I'm really gutted, but please go listen to it. So that is the album. So Leilani, Lealani. Again, we'll add it to the plot list. No, I spelled out the name and then I messed up the word. We'll add it to the playlist. So it's a 2019 album called Fantastic Planet. And if you're a fan of like Portishead, Massive Attack, it's definitely got that like synth vibe to it. Talking about the album, Leilani said she was like heavily influenced by like the subculture back in like 2006, 2010 of like LA. So there was a music club and a night that happened on a weekly basis called Low End Theory, which obviously takes its name from a Tribe Called Quest's album. But it was this weekly night that happened in LA, and it kind of gave birth to what they call the beat music genre. Okay. And from that, it was this kind of mashup of all these genres coming together. That club night actually went on to become the Low End Theory Festival, which ran from like 2012 to 2018, something like that.
Nice.
But what it did in that weekly moment is it gave birth to some artists like Flying Lotus and like the Glitch Mob. But this was something that was like heavily influencing her at the time when she was making music, and really drawing on all the links between like everything from like LA rap to like all the jazz and like Eric Dolphy and stuff like that. Leilani describes her music as like beat bop boop, which is great, just like all the synths mashing against to each other, but at the same time as it being like very electronic and very synthy, it does have that sort of like trip hop vibe to it. Again, bringing in those like references to like Portishead and Massive Attack. There's 2 tracks on there if you want to go and check it out. Just like, give yourself 6 minutes of an introduction. One of them's called Floating, which is great. And the other one's called Minuscule. I think they're quite different across the album, but it does give you a nice range of the sound across Fantastic Planet. And up until a few months ago, so after Fantastic Planet came out, Leilani kind of parked that project and started working on other things, which were a little bit more synthy and I'd say a little more pop leaning in nature. Still great, but I think that album is just so strong. But a few months ago, she started dropping singles again as Leilani. So it's really exciting that we've got new music back. So I'm hoping that means maybe that there's an album on the way. But she dropped a new single in December called Skin and Bones.
Nice.
So yeah, go check that out too. But yeah, Fantastic Planet. It's gorgeous artwork as well.
There's something about that record. It stands out from the crowd. It's brutal in places as well. It's like
really heavy.
Lots
of clashing like percussion on it, but it works like really discordant, but great.
And how old was Leilani when? I
don't know that information.
Real young. I think when that album came
Pretty
out.
young.
Yeah. And just incredible foresight for an artist that age. Just incredible.
Really good.
I'm
so glad she's gone back to that as a project. Obviously, it's great to go off and experiment with different things, but like it was one of those that I only found out about it maybe like 2022, 2023. Album came out in 2019, and it's one of those where like you find something, you're like, oh my God, I love this. This is right up my street. And then you're like, oh no, there's no more of it. I need some more. So yeah, I'm really, really glad that there's new music coming out now. I can't wait to see where it goes from there, and how maybe sometimes those side projects and like the experimenting can then like inform what comes next in the development of an artist.
That's really cool.
So it's great. Yeah, so go check it out. Everything that we've talked about will pop on the playlist. You can go see that, click on the link in the show notes, and also it's on our website, and we'll keep sharing the link on social media and everything like that. But yeah, great. Go save your playlist. It's good.
Amazing.
Why? We think it's good.
So next we're going to talk about some amazing records that have come across the counter this week. Jess, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Tyrannosaurus Hives by The Hives, a really, really big album. So this is a limited edition copy of it, released in 2004.
Nice.
Inside we have the LP. Here it is. Look at that picture. Amazing.
Such a great band.
And then also it comes with, love a little bonus in a record. Ooh.
Careful.
Careful. Let me pop that back in there. This is a 7-inch as well, which comes with the bonus tracks, Uptight on the A side and The Hives Meets the Norm on the B side.
Nice.
So yeah, I brought this to the table because it was released in 2004. This is a first press from there. Not many people were buying records in 2004.
For sure.
In fact, like 2004 to 2010 are the years that the lowest amount of records were pressed and made. Obviously, we're in a totally different era now. People can't keep up with the demand of records.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to bring it here because I thought it was a really rare time for records to be pressed. Also, the Hives have, when some bands just like have like an affinity to the city and they just keep coming back, and there's such like a cult following here. And I feel like the Hives is one of those to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it also reminded me of, do you remember a couple of years ago, they came to play the Jack on Seal Street, and then that band rocked up called Sky Valley Mistress in the hearse.
Yeah.
And they completely shut down Slater Street.
Yeah, completely.
And like the Hives came out and they played Hate to Say I Told You So. And it was just like chaos, but also brilliant chaos, and everyone just being like, the Hives are on.
The Hives are just there.
The Hives just playing next to on Slater Street. Have you seen it? It was great. Crazy. It was great. Yeah, just one of those amazing moments, and like amazing for the Jack as well. But yeah, so vinyl revenues were at like the lowest point in 2006. Obviously, this was at 2004. And what's interesting as well is Record Store Day have just released the list for 2025, and this album's finally getting a repress. So I don't think it's been repressed before. So if you haven't got a first press, you haven't got any collection, this one is getting a repress this year. So Record Store Day is on the 12th of April. Everyone has started to highlight their lists and started making their wish lists together. So yeah, this one, if you're a big Hives fan, it's finally getting a repress, which is exciting.
Nice.
What about you? What's taking your interest this week?
Well, I have something completely different to the Hives. I have Slipknot. Let's go.
Kind of similar in their colours on their front cover, but yeah, very, very different.
So this is the 10th anniversary edition of All Hope Is Gone. This was the final album to have Paul Gray, who sadly passed away, and Joey Jordison, who also passed away. So it's a really important record for the band. It's a lovely pressing that commemorates everyone, and the records are pressed on grey vinyl.
It's like a metallic sort of silvery grey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Also, I feel like that's the smallest parental advisory logo I've ever seen. That is tiny.
It is literally tiny. It's like they almost don't care.
Well,
you're buying a Slipknot record. You
know what you're getting.
But yeah, super rare to find. Super rare to find in this condition as well. Absolutely stunning. But yeah, a really important record. It marked like a move away from the heaviness, even though there's bangers still on it. But they definitely went into a more melodic period. And yeah, it's kind of a special item that we have in the shop. It's fairly expensive.
What year did you say it's from again?
So it came out in 2008.
Got you.
But
so similar with the Hives then, like records that are coming out in that like early 2004, 2010 is so hard to come by.
For sure. But yeah, just a stunner to have. It's a lovely addition to the shop. So yeah, I love that. What have you got next?
Nice. And also like to have like heavy metal or get heavy rock records. Yeah, in a first press, people go really mad for that. Yeah. So excellent. So again, wow, we've really picked three things that couldn't be more opposite in terms of their genres and their styles. I have two Japanese represses from 2020.
Yeah.
And they are for the soundtracks to Kiki's Delivery Service and to Spirited Away.
Lovely.
Two massive Studio Ghibli films. Japanese presses, obviously because of the OB strip on the side here. For anyone that doesn't know, an OB strip is something that they use in Japanese products, so like in records and in books. They use it to sort of translate what's on the inside, and also they've become very highly sought after and very collectible.
Nice.
We have people that come into the shop specifically looking for Japanese pressings. Obviously, Japan, one of the biggest sort of record collecting communities and cultures out there.
Yeah.
And we have lots of people come into the shop internationally as well that are from Japan looking for like UK presses as well. So Kiki's delivery service is a single LP, some gorgeous artwork on there, 2 Miyazaki films. And then you've got Spirited Away as a gatefold double LP. So I will just open that up so we can have a little look inside.
Look at that.
It's so nice. And then, this is a double LP, but there's actually only 3 sides of music across the 2 LPs. And then on the 4th side of the second LP,
let's go.
They've etched 2 of the characters from the film into, which is a really nice way just to finish off the thing. So I'm not too sure if this will pick up, but I'll see if we can get a little close up at that.
Nice.
Which is great.
I love it when they do etchings on the back of records.
Yeah.
Because, they've put loads of effort into it. And
definitely. And I feel like with something that is like, an incredibly detailed animated film, it would only make sense to make the albums designed in that way when they're on LP as well. But 2 lovely 2020 Japanese represses for those soundtracks.
Awesome.
Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at some of the Liverpool bands and musicians that have caught our eyes and ears recently. Obviously, nice to go through all the records and see what we've got coming across the shop floor, but most importantly, let's have a look at Liverpool's music scene. So I'm going to start this one.
Let's go.
So I've been listening to Dayzy, who recently had an EP that came out, recently, September 2024, so we'll say in the last 6 months. The EP is called Land of Zion. It's the blends of Afrobeat and jazz and hip-hop. So Dayzy grew up listening to lots of Congolese artists like Kofi Olomide and Papa Wemba, and very much inspired by like 90s hip hop, and takes inspiration from like people like J. Cole and like Little Sims and Nas. And so for this EP, when Dayzy's talking about it, says it feels very collaborative, bringing as many Liverpool artists into it as possible, and wanting to have like an uplifting and involving aspect of involving local talent as well. He brought out the EP, did this amazing set in Lost Art in the Baltic, which is a skate shop in the Baltic Triangle in Liverpool.
Is that the one that I've seen online? Full band.
Yeah.
It's
so really good. Really, really good. Nice to have like that sort of hip hop, Afrobeat, jazz vibes. Yeah. But also with like the backing band. And it's a really, really cool set in Lost Art. The clips are great.
It looked amazing.
It looked really good. I'm good. We missed that.
Yeah.
But so like looking ahead, Dayzy is gearing up for an exciting UK mini tour in 2025. So really, really, really looking forward to hearing the dates about that.
Yeah.
Go check out the EP. It's called Land of Zion. We'll add a few tracks to our playlist as well that you can check out on Spotify. Dayzy, Dayzy. Go check it out. Who have you been listening to recently?
So I've been listening to Casual Blood Service.
Nice.
Yep. Liverpool lo-fi indie. Started out recording music on cassette tapes and on a laptop microphone. And you can really tell as well, it's super lo-fi. Kind of reminds me of like Julie Cruz, very gothic, but just really interesting. Not much like it around. Really stands out from the crowd. There's only singles available at the moment, but I am crossing my fingers for an album. The singles that you should check out are Tell Me You Love Me, which came out in November. Also, Crooked Teeth and My Secret Friend. Just really incredible. Imagery is also great. Just looks great. I'm going to be keeping my ear to the ground for gigs because I'd love to see it live. And hoping for an album.
Nice. I've also been listening to Little Furry Things, who are an indie rock punk outfit. Very fuzzy for fans of like early Weezer or Pixie, Sonic Youth, Pavement, that kind of thing.
Nice.
I also love the hand-drawn artwork for all the singles. That was really, really what caught my eye when I was having a look through the
really
bands.
Cute. Yeah.
It's really nice. So far they've released 3 singles in 2024. So big year last year for them. Those 3 singles are Marmite, Industry Plan, and Sitting Around Waiting.
Nice.
Marmite was actually mastered by Katie Tavini from Weird Jungle.
We know Katie.
Amazing.
Big up Katie Tavini.
Big up Katie. And like like Weird Jungle are a great mastering collective, but they've worked with the likes of like Rudimental, Block Party, Nadine Shah, Arlo Park. So yeah, the sound is really, really nice. Like I say, very fuzzy. If you're into like Weezer and like stuff like that, you'll definitely like it. They're called Little Furry Things. Again, we'll add a few tracks to our playlist. If you are a Liverpool-based band, musician, artist, DJ, and you've got new music out, or you're looking to like do a couple of gigs coming up, or you've got some like an EP dropping, please drop us a line, send us a message on social media, drop us an email. We'd love to listen to it first and foremost, play it in the shop, and also talk about it on here. So yeah, get in touch.
We are really building this platform to help local artists and local bands. So yeah, if we can help in any way, please let us know. If you want to sell your records in the shop, we don't take a cut. If you want to perform in the shop, that's something that we're looking to do down the line. And so, yeah, please get in touch and let us know what you're up to. So lastly, we're going to talk about some gigs that are up and coming. So I'm going to talk about the Tune Steppers, who are a swingy jazz outfit. They're playing the Petit Café de Coin on Berry Street every Wednesday evening. Well worth checking out. It just looks like a great time. I think they bring their dog with them. So who doesn't love a dog in a pub? So yeah, lovely down-tempo jazz for a late chill, a date night. There's like guitar, saxophone, stripped-back drums, guest musicians interchange, and we saw a clip of a vibraphone.
Yeah, I like how it kind of changes depending on what their gig is like. If they get different jazz musicians in, people are bringing different instruments, it kind of changes each time.
Yeah, I love that. And it feels dead traditional, but also dead modern. Really accessible. So great to see jazz doing the rounds in the city. So please check out their vibe at the tune_steppers.
Yeah.
The_tune steppers, or one word.
Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, they play Petit Cafe on Berry Street on a Wednesday evening.
Yep.
But if you're in South Liverpool, they play Petit Cafe on Lark Lane on Saturday evening.
Let's
so
go.
Best of both.
Nice.
So then on the 28th of February, Plush, who run regular events and have their own record label in
Friend
Liverpool.
Friend
of the shop. We love Plush. They do amazing things for the city. Lots of great nights. So they are having one last final night at Quarry, where it all began for them. They're going back.
Wow.
And that is to raise money towards securing a new venue. We've talked about Quarry in past episodes, but yeah, they're an independent venue based on Love Lane. They're being forced to close, unfortunately, due to development of that area, but they are moving to a new venue in 2025. You can go down and check out Plush, which they're putting on their final night on the 28th of February. It's donations only on entry, and there's a massive lineup. So let me try and see if I can get everybody involved so everyone gets repped. So it's going to be a range of techno to UK garage, electro, and they have Peach Melba, Identikid, All Trades, Pixie, My Oh My, Sound of Drowning, Me You May, and then you can find out all the information on their Instagram, which is at plush.liverpool.
You smashed that. That was incredible. Well done.
I don't think I'll be able to do it again. But yeah, it looks really good. And yeah, great music for a great cause and supporting all independents. So what's not to love?
We must support the Quarry.
We must support Quarry. We've got to support independent venues. Every year, Music Venue Trust bring out a new report, and like X amount of grassroots venues have closed down again, and it's just absolute, awful and a crime. And we can do something to change that. Loads of things need to happen in order to change that. But yeah, the least we can do is, go and support independent music and independent venues. We need them.
For sure. On the 28th of March, Sungazer play Future Yard. Originally formed in Brooklyn in 2014, Sungazer have brought their unique blend of hard-hitting jazz fusion, 8-bit, progressive rock and EDM to audiences in the US and in Europe. So ahead of their gig, there's a masterclass for jazz enthusiasts to have a deep dive with Adam Neely, and Sean Crowder from the band. Tickets include access to the gig, and it's a great opportunity to learn from the experts in the business and enjoy an evening of innovative music. They are touring their new album Against the Fall of Night, which came out last September. So please go and check them out. 28th of March, Sungazer at Future Yard.
Yeah, I just love the fact that they're putting on that workshop before the gig.
Adam Neely's a legend, absolute legend. And to go and be able to pick his brain is just absolutely incredible. So
really nice. And thoroughly in the ethos of Future Yard about being like a place for gigs, but also a place for talent development as well.
Yeah.
Really good to see.
Amazing. So we have a little bit of an announcement to make before we round this one off. Next week, we are going to be doing a live performance in the shop from The Stamp. This is going to be incredible. We saw them, I think we mentioned them in the first episode.
Yeah, we saw them back in District in the winter. I think they've got some more gigs coming up at District soon. I'm sure we'll show more about that in that episode.
It's going to be something brand new for us. We haven't been able to get a live set done in the shop, but we are looking forward to it. And hopefully once we've got it down, we'll be able to do more of these in the future. So if you're a band who think you would like to be able to do that, please give us a shout. I think that's the end of this episode, Jess.
That's great. Yeah, that's end of episode 6. Join us next week. Weekly episodes every Thursday. You can follow us on social media. That is at Dead Air Vinyl across the board. If there's anything that you want to listen to that we've spoken about, the link for our playlist is down in the show notes. So go check that out. See you next time.
Take care.